So in this video, I want to talk about what happens or what to do if your computer starts to become like really slow and sluggish. So a lot of that is usually due to the buildup of files and a bunch of like extra erroneous data or temporary files on the computer. So let's pull up the this PC view here in File Explorer. And so you can see here, look at my C drive. So I've got, this a little bit of free space left, so I'm doing okay. Now this drive is telling me here that it's starting to get low. And usually if you see something like that on your main drive, that's going to be an early indication that you may want to consider kind of cleaning up your drive, or maybe you've got a little too much data being stored and need to offload it if it's legitimate. But it could also be that you've got a lot of stuff in a recycle bin or downloaded files or junk files cluttering up the drive. So here's kind of the what the first steps I would suggest you do is go to your recycle bin. Okay, if you don't need any of this, go ahead and clean out the recycle bin. So let's start there. Let's clear that out. And you can see that was just a lot of data sitting in here already. So once we'll let that finish here. Alright, awesome. So that has been cleaned. So now the next thing you'd want to look at, let's bring up the File Explorer again. And we're going to go to %temp%, and that's going to bring you to the temporary file folder under your user folder. And you can see there's a lot of this data in here that's like, well, what is this? Well, you see this .tmp extension that stands for temporary, so it's a temporary file. So it means it's not needed. It's just they're short-term temporary, as something was needing to temporarily store some data. So the easiest way to do is you can do Control A to highlight everything and just hit delete. And sometimes this will happen, so you can say try again, and if it can't do it, I would say just skip, because it's likely it's still being used. Again, it's temporary files, so it's okay to leave it as long as you get rid of most of it, which is fine. So it's gonna likely put everything here in the recycle bin. As you can see, it just filled up again, but not quite done just yet. So that's one spot. So you want to come back to the C drive, and then you want to go to the Windows folder, and then there's a temp folder here in Windows, and you'll want to do the same thing. Do Control A and then delete, and just say continue. Alright, try again. I always try at least once. If it can't, okay, then I'll just say let's just skip the rest. And no, we'll just cancel that, because I know it's not going to do anything. And so we've cleaned out the Windows temp folder as well. And as you see, some stuff was just showing up there as again, stuff actively being need to put in there and be used. Alright, and so we come back to the recycle bin. It's like, now, ooh, look at all this stuff. We have 459 items. So let's go ahead and empty the recycle bin again. You say yes. Let that finish. Okay, great. Now let's go see how much space did we recover. Okay, look, well, we went from like about 64 to about 71 gigs free, so freed up a bit of space there. Now there's another method too. So if you search for disk cleanup, you can select the drive that you want to clean, and so we'll do the main drive, and it's going to bring up this window here. So we're done with these. Let's close those for now. And so you can kind of see, and it's going to show you all the amount of data here, which in this case, since I've already done some cleaning, there's really not much, but you can kind of go through. So if you wanted to clean the thumbnails, you can. The temporary files, the recycle bin. Let's go back to the top. So of course, downloaded program files is fine. Of course, temporary internet files. Offline web pages, it's so small, it's fine to leave. Again, if it's so small and you're not sure, you're probably better off just leaving it. But definitely the thumbnails, temporary files, recycle bin, download program files, temporary internet files, you can certainly say I want to clean those, and then you can say OK. and just delete files, and it'll go through and clean. So you could have even done this before doing the manual steps, and that'll certainly help a bit. Now the other thing I did want to show you is let's look at the downloads folder, and I know I have quite a bit in mine, so it's going to take a few moments to load, as you can see. But this is another place, if you don't clean it out, like if you download stuff like program installers, other files, anything, almost anything you download by default, it's going to come here to your downloads folder. And so let's look at how large this folder is. So you can see I've got over 14 gigs here and stuff. So if I was to completely clean this out, I would recover that much more space. Yeah, I download a lot of stuff, and a lot of times I leave it here, because I need to reference stuff. But yes, I could move it if I know it's going to keep it long term. But periodically, I do come through and clean it up. I usually will leave stuff in here maybe about a month. I know for sure I don't need it. Yes, I know I've got some stuff in here that's been in here longer than a month. That would just be my recommendation for the average user. Hey, anything older than a month, get rid of it, because it's likely if it's still sitting here, you haven't moved it, you don't need it. And so that would be another place. So if you're noticing again your computer is being slow or sluggish, start by cleaning it up. If you're still having an issue, there are other third-party applications that do a deeper clean. The best one I can recommend to use that's going to be the most user-friendly is the CC Cleaner. That's a great option. There are some other tools I use to kind of help as well. So the next step after doing that, if it's still a problem, is there might be either a virus or malware. So in the next video, in this grouping of videos, I'm going to kind of talk a little bit more about that and what you can do to check for any malware or virus and get the system cleaned up. So again, you have any questions or comments or concerns, or just would like some more information or help, feel free to reach out to me using the contact information in the book.